All right, let's switch over out west. We're looking at Suns Nuggets. We've got a tip off at 10 p.m. Eastern. Nuggets laying 4, total at 229. The Nuggets destroyed the Suns in game one, easily covering the 4.5 point spread. Jamal Murray was on fire. Jokic did Jokic things, put up 19 rebounds, 24 points. Denver's been the best team at home in the NBA this season. Do you expect anything different tonight, Steve Merril, out in Denver?
Well, I think this is a question. Is Phoenix really the best team in the West? Because let's remember, they were only the 4 seed coming into the playoffs, and that's because they didn't have this lineup. They didn't have, obviously, the key players like Durant, and Irving and stuff for the full season. So they're a lot better than, say, a 55% win percentage. But are they really a Class A team? And so far, it's been all talk, it's all hype. But, the Clippers get them in game one. The Clippers keep other games close, extremely shorthanded without Kawhi and Paul George. And then the Suns were not really that competitive in game one against the number one seed, who nobody was talking about in the playoffs. So we'll find out if Phoenix is for real or not. If they're really a Class A team, they should bounce back tonight. One of my favorite angles in the NBA playoffs is once again to play quality teams off a loss, especially a double-digit loss. Also like to play quality road dogs in game two. Phoenix fits a lot of those situations tonight. Now, with that said, I did have a strong best bet on Denver in game one. They were my preferred side in this series. I liked them a lot, minus the 2.5, 3. It closed as high as 4, 4.5, and they covered and won by double digits. So Denver's my preferred side. I'd rather be having the Nuggets off a loss in this series. But if Phoenix really is a Class A team, if they're really the best team in the West, like the odds makers were telling us 2 weeks ago, they should bounce back tonight and cover this line.
The Nuggets create a lot of matchup problems for the Suns. Denver went out there, played good perimeter defense, forced the Suns to shoot a lot from three, in which Phoenix was just 7 of 23. Yet you look at the stats, and Devin Booker didn't have a bad game. KD had a great game. So what do the Suns need to do in order to fix that? And how are you approaching this one, Andy, out there in Denver tonight?
Well, for starters, their starters can do better than 2 for 10 from 3-point land in that game. Two made 3-pointers. Like Phoenix doesn't shoot a lot of 3-pointers anyway. It sometimes to their detriment. But I mean, come on! Like Denver was crowding the 3-point line, and they were forcing him to take those mid-range jumpers, which is fine. But when Durant is 1 for 3 and Booker's 0 for 1 from threes, you're playing right into exactly what Denver wants to do. Game one looked like what I thought it was going to look like. We talked about on Friday. I loved the Denver Nuggets over their team total of 113.5. I just think this is a nightmare matchup for Phoenix. And Steve brought up a good point. The odds makers were telling us that this was the best team in the West. I think a lot of us had a lot of questions about it. Like, you traded away all your depth. You traded away Mikal Bridges, who not only was your best defensive player, but has turned out to be an amazing option on offense. And boy, they could use that right about now. I mean, you got Paul, Ayton, and Okogie combining for 27 points. It's just not going to get it done. I don't see what adjustments they can make on offense, particularly because Jamal Murray can get whatever shot he wants. And if you're going to get that kind of effort from DeAndre Ayton against Jokic, I mean, just forget about it. It's not going to work. Ayton was just a complete no-show. There were some just hilarious videos on social media of him giving up and not even trying. So I would look at the Denver Nuggets again to go over their team total. And the other thing that you're looking at is both these teams are running with such tight rotations on their starters. A lot of these guys are going over their points, rebounds, and assists, or over their rebounds, or over their assists, just because they're playing a ton of minutes. I mean, look at the Nuggets. You got Aaron Gordon playing 39 minutes and Murray playing 37 minutes. So those guys are going to get over their totals just from the sheer fact that they're on the court quite a bit. Even Phoenix, some of their players got pulled late. I think this is a really good spot to come back and take some of the overs. I think Phoenix is super motivated. They will make some adjustments. I think this is another high-scoring game. I wouldn't be too scared of the over in this one, but I think Phoenix has a real uphill battle for the rest of the series.
The total at 229. The zigzag theory suggests that you take Phoenix to cover the 4-point spread. If that's going to happen, DeAndre Ayton's got to step up. Chris Paul's got to step up. And the big thing is Phoenix cannot have 16 turnovers. Bryan Leonard, we welcome you to the NBA Tip-Off Show to get your thoughts on Suns Nuggets. How do you approach handicapping this one out in Denver for game two?
the line movement going from 4.5 to 4 makes a lot of sense to me. Phoenix, the problem you have with Phoenix is they haven't played together. The key players on the team have not played together. Now they're healthy, and now you're able to see what the real team looks like. And it sure wasn't what they showed up for in game one. Denver's a team with a terrific home court advantage. A lot of that has to do with the altitude there. Now that Phoenix has been there a while, I think that's not going to be the case here. When your first game in Denver, it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. You talk to anybody who's ever been there, but once you are acclimated to it, the advantage goes away. Denver's been very good to me at home this year, but I like the Phoenix side here. I think we see the real Phoenix Suns tonight. There's a reason why when the trade was made, everybody thought that Phoenix was going to win it all. But in the NBA regular season, as we see year in and year out now, it's all up to load management. We've seen the same thing with the Lakers. The Lakers are a totally different team now than they were during the regular season. We're getting a Phoenix team. Everybody's buying into one game. I'm not there. I think Phoenix takes this one down to the wire. It's tough to win in Denver, but I'll take the points here with Phoenix.
All right, Brian, I like your approach. A little contrarian for a Denver team that has been very solid at home. It is good to note, though, that you do get acclimated after being there for some time with the altitude, and maybe Phoenix steps up tonight against Denver for game two. Before we get into our best bet section, Brian, we want to hear what you have going on at WagerTalk. So how was the weekend, and what do you have going on the site this week?
Yeah, I ended up both the big underdogs yesterday in the NHL. 2-1 in baseball. Baseball's been going great. Unfortunately, I don't have any actual selections for my clients today. The best play on the board to me is the Phoenix Suns, but it wasn't quite enough for me to give to a client as a client play. I went from 4.5 to 4. If it had gone up to 5, I might have done it. But just because there's games doesn't mean we have to bet them. So I'm going to be passing today for clients. But if I had to play anything, it would be this Phoenix Suns team.